Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds. Lawrence?
Hello, hello, hello. How are we doing today? Episode 27 of the Roflix podcast. So now we have the same amount of episodes as the New York Yankees have championships. So that's a good benchmark for us. So how you doing, Josh?
I'm doing swell.
Great. How you doing, Cody?
I'm okay too.
Of course, that is not Cody. He was unable to join us, but for a good reason. We're very proud of him. He helped put on a play. I'm not 100% sure what his capacity is, but he's in the upper leadership, so he's putting on a play. It premiered this weekend, so we are very proud of him. So he's obviously a little busy with doing his thing, but as they say in show business, the show must go on. So Josh, you and I are going to be riding solo this time. I'll make the same amount of historical jokes that I'm assuming will go right over your head, so bear with us. But no fun little banter riffing this week because, as you know, Josh, we just got crapped on with news and trailers and all that
storm.
Bits and bots and all that kind of crap. So let's just get it started. We'll save the trailers for last. So
all right.
Let's what is going on in the news this week?
All right, I got it all separated into sections. So first we got a bunch of casting stuff.
Oh boy.
First things first, Channing Tatum, the
Yes. Magic
Mike himself, is joining Kingsman, the Golden Circle, and I will see if I can find what role he's playing. But what do you think?
It's Channing Tatum, so he's very funny, and he's funny. He's got the acting chops. He's got the action chop. Actually, he really hasn't been in too much action that I can think of off the top of my head.
You got the Jump Street movies and G.I. Joe.
Yeah, but those are more. G.I. Joe is an atrocity, and and Jump Street I've always thought is more comedic than action. Like the action is good, but I just think of more comedic. But I guess this is kind of living along those two lines. So it's very interesting. They're really shooting for the fences here. I mean, or swinging for the fences, I should say. So they got Channing Tatum, Julianne Moore, Halle Berry. And
they also have Elton John now.
Yeah, freaking Elton, Crocodile Rock himself. But yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I don't know how much of the stuff that I didn't care for in the first movie would be fixed by Channing Tatum, but it's a hell of a start. So why not? And I can already picture that he's gonna be. In my head, I feel like he's just gonna be this airhead, like this just American that they pile on all the time. Like I don't like there's a. When I first thought of this, I was like, oh, he's just going to be this dashing super spy, like CIA agent from America. I'm like, you know what? He's probably just going to be some idiot, like more comedic than like a badass, I suppose. But I may be wrong. But yeah, it's very, very interesting. And you got to do something to fill up the time that you're supposed to do Gambit. So this is a pretty good alternative. What do you think?
What I'm about to say, if I would have said this, if you told me I was going to say this to myself 5 years ago, I would have punched myself in the face. Yeah. But Channing Tatum is becoming one of my favorite, at least comedic actors working today.
Mm-hmm.
I think this guy is awesome. I think he's really funny. He's really charming. He's way better than he used to be because he used to suck. He used to be friggin' terrible. I hated him.
Was he? I can't remember.
Yeah. In the first G.I. Joe,
well,
that was definitely the one that really I hated him in. There was another one, I can't remember what it's called. The dancing movies too. Those are terrible.
Well,
Step Up, is that what it's called?
But the fact of the matter is, at least with the Step Up, that's kind of where your career, quote unquote, begins, but it actually goes to die. So the fact that he was able to get out of that stuff is pretty cool. Like I think
that's true.
His first real movie was like with a respected director was Public Enemies. I think back in 2009 we have Michael Mann, and then he got into his whole fresh face, kind of crappy dramas, crappy action movies, and then starting with really 21 Jump Street and maybe Haywire, he's just sort of settled into this very strange niche that I can't think of any actor who's had a career similar to Channing Tatum. Really, he's kind of all over the place, and I really like him for that.
Yeah,
he was in Foxcatcher, and then it's crazy. But yeah, it's so you're excited.
Yeah, definitely. I'm loving what I'm getting from this so far.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still waiting to hear the announcement that Matthew Vaughn has jumped ship, but it hasn't happened yet. So happy so far.
as he is apt to do. But it's. I don't think he will. I think because this is kind of his own thing. Like
I
with
guess.
X-Men, he was coming into it after 5 movies or whatever, but there was no
Yeah.
Kingsman before him. So I feel like I feel like he'd probably stick it out.
We'll
But
see. I think it'll stick. I don't know. I don't. I'm not completely sold yet, but I think it's shooting this summer.
it's
So
not much time to bail, really.
yeah. So I'm really excited.
You know?
Okay. So next up, going into a galaxy far, far away. Um, sort of. It's not official yet, but it looks like we have a front runner for Han Solo,
Yes. Who is he?
and it is. I'm gonna hope I pronounce it right. Alden Ehrenreich.
I think it's Aaron Rick, but you're pretty close.
All right.
So yeah.
But Hans or not Han Solo. Hail Caesar
hmm
kid, as I call him.
Hoagie Doyle, Hobie
Yeah.
Doyle, or whatever his name was. Yeah. I've when I first saw this, I kind of was just trolling around the internet, looking at pictures of him, trying to just like, could this person be Han Solo? And I'm coming around. I mean, I've never been like, this guy would be awful, but he's kind of, now that I know that he's a front runner, is probably going to get this. I'm okay with it. I was like, all right, I wouldn't mind this. Like, it's okay. I mean, the fact that he's 5'9" and Harrison's 6'1" might be a little bit weird because I'm 5'9". So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that works. But hey, this guy's. I think he's got the chops to be able to get to do this more than anybody else on that list. I think. What about you?
I mean, my number one choice is still Taron Egerton of all the choices that have been listed already. But if this is the guy they go with, I'm fine with it. I mean, like I said, I almost hated Hail Caesar, but to me, he was hands down the best part of it. He was awesome in the movie. Um, I don't know does he speak like normal American or does he always speak like he's from Texas?
No, he was born in
Okay.
L.A., so
Okay.
he's American
Uh,
through and through.
but good. But yeah, I mean, look wise, I don't care, as a lot of people seem to. But you're never going to get someone who looks exactly like Harrison Ford, and if you do, that's probably the only thing they have quality wise, because then they probably can't act, because
Yeah.
we're not getting a replication here.
Yeah.
But I love what I've seen him in so far. I think he could pull it off. I'm just looking for someone that can embody the spirit of Han Solo, and if he's a fan, he's a great actor. I think he can do it. So if that's the guy they go with, I'm completely fine with it.
And as they are apt to do when some of these kind of not unknowns but lesser known actors get a big role like Han Solo, a lot of studios, they dump maybe 30 or 40 something like that $1 million into some crappy kind of offshoot to like introduce this person to the world almost. Like they didn't do it with Daisy Ridley obviously, but like with Henry Cavill a few years ago, he just randomly showed up in this crappy thriller just to kind of like, so it's like, hey,
I
that's
remember
the guy
that.
who's going to be Superman. So but actually, before we move on, I want to point out one thing. I was reading up on him, and I found this really funny how people found out that he was the front runner. On April 16, 2016, Deadline reported he was the front runner for the role following secret screen tests for a mystery project titled Red Cup, a reference to the character name through the famous red cups produced by the Solo Cup Company. I love that. Like, that's really funny. That's such a Phil Lord, Chris Miller thing to do.
Oh, Jesus. That's great.
It's the little things, but hey, man, that's if it's not him, we'll know pretty soon. So
Yeah,
I think we're in the
gonna
final
know
stages.
soon.
But Dave Franco actually in an interview, he said he
Yeah.
obviously wasn't going to get it, but he talked a little bit about how they're really, even when he was screen testing, they didn't really know 100% what they wanted, which is understandable because it's Han Solo, one of the most loved characters of all time. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how this pans out.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And I think the fact that he's talking about it now pretty much confirms that they know who they want,
Mm.
because they probably have cast him.
Well, the same thing happened with Tom Holland as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Remember that? There was, I mean, granted, I think he was the quote unquote front runner reported, and then he ended up, of course, getting it. But there
Yeah.
was a little bit of a kerfuffle towards the end.
Yeah, I guess.
You never know. All right, cool. Let's move on.
All right. Then we're jumping over to Marvel, another bit of Disney World. Tessa Thompson from Creed, who was amazing in Creed, is I don't want to say replacing Natalie Portman, but she's replacing Natalie Portman um,
Hmm.
as Thor's. I think it's supposed Thor's love interest, although it's not 100% confirmed who she's playing. That's just what everyone's reporting. It could be the Hulk's love interest since he's in it too, but she's in it and Natalie Portman isn't. So that's interesting and cool.
Okay. Hmm. So why is Portman gone? Like that's
I
what's
mean,
up with her?
does anyone care really?
I don't know. It just seems strange to me. She's Natalie Portman. She's a,
I mean, she
respected
doesn't.
actress. She didn't.
It
They didn't.
really doesn't seem like she likes being in these movies. Like she's never shown any real interest.
Yeah, did
It's
they?
really just seems like a paycheck gig to her.
What happened to her at the end of Dark World?
I don't remember. She was there.
Appreciate your
Doing stuff.
honesty.
I don't know.
Mid credit scene, after credit scene. Oh God, these.
I think Thor came back to Earth and was with her at the end of the movie.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
So I don't know. But she's gone now. So I guess that relation. I guess Thor was like, you know what? I'm not really feeling this whole long distance relationship thing. I'm gonna go find myself an Asgardian, and
Okay,
we're gonna make little Asgard babies.
but why not bump up Jamie Alexander? She's great, and
Yeah,
she's built
that's
in as a possible love interest. So that seems weird to bring in somebody this late in the game, but uh,
that's true. I mean,
it's a strange thing to do. It's like
I don't know.
Natalie Portman.
Maybe just give you can not have a romance there and just have another her be a stand like
No, no.
another female character be on her own.
Every movie ever needs to have a romance. Don't you forget. Like, no matter how forced, no matter how ridiculous, they have to have a love interest.
Yeah, but I
It's
mean,
Captain America: Civil War or Winter Soldier, I should say.
but I don't know. I mean, I love Tessa Thompson from Creed. I thought she was great in that movie. Like, she surprised me how great she was. She was like not I wouldn't say on par with Michael B. Jordan and Stallone, but she was great. I loved her.
Yeah, she didn't
So
stand out, which is a
uh,
good thing, I
yeah,
think.
the fact that so having her join the whole franchise, that's awesome to me. So I'm
Cool.
happy. Okay, and then the last bit of casting, which will then go into the other. You know what? I'll talk about this first. Spider-Man. We
Yes.
got some Spider-Man news. First things first, we got a title. We got a title for the Spider-Man standalone movie coming out next summer, I think July.
And let me
It's
just
called
say real quick.
yeah.
So I edit these episodes, and after every episode, if you notice and you like the little music cue segues, I like to put in maybe songs either that fit the content of the episode or just songs that have been an earworm in my head and that I want to share. So a couple weeks ago, I put in a song called "Homecoming" by Kanye West, well
hmm
before this whole title rumors came out. So can I get some credit for being a
Yes.
genius?
I
Thank you.
actually just a heads up. I actually had to take that out because of the copyright infringement on the YouTube version.
Yeah.
So
Oh well.
YouTube just
Yeah,
they're trigger happy.
Yeah, iTunes is there. It's free game. You can do whatever you want, pretty much.
I'm surprised you can do that with iTunes
Yeah,
because
it's really they don't care. Like some of the biggest movie podcasts use multiple, or just podcasts in general use multiple clips from movies and songs like that.
that's
Like I know a song that ends every episode of their show with a song, like a full song from a TV show. So I don't know. It kind of just happens that way. But anyways, I'm a genius. But what else is going on?
So we got Spider-Man. The movie has a title. It's called Spider-Man, as you said, Homecoming. Um, and so on top of that, we'll talk about the title in a second. But we also have a casting for the movie. Michael Keaton, Batman, is going to be joining Spider-Man. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he's playing, but I think he's supposed to be playing the villain.
Yeah.
So that could be cool. But yeah, bunch
Oh,
of
and
Spidey stuff.
I don't know if you might have missed this, but they also added a couple of role
Yeah,
players,
I
like
saw that. The
Laura
two
Harrier
others.
and Tony Revolori, they're really only worth mentioning because I can see their stuff in my head. Like it's not going to be anything crazy, but he
Yeah.
was in Grand Budapest, which was amazing. So
Okay.
that's pretty cool. That's good. Some good casting and some. I don't want to be this guy, but it's some good diversity. Like
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, granted the three leads are
Sony
still white people, but whatever, whatever.
Sony has been getting nothing but crapped on with their diversity thing. If people were really annoyed that they cast a white kid to play Peter Parker, or didn't get Miles Morales because
Okay, well, how many years in the comics was he white? Okay, let's. I
like
mean,
I
if you,
don't.
even if you Spider-Man was around like since the 50s or something like that, or
Yeah,
maybe even earlier. So that's 70 years, and a majority of it he's been a white guy. So I get what you're saying, but calm down. It's not like he's been a black guy half the time, like it's Green Lantern. That's not what we're talking about.
I mean I wouldn't have cared. It's just like
Yeah, I
people
don't
get
care.
upset about these things for not doing something just to bring diversity. It's like
Yeah, ugh.
it's whatever.
Once you try to appeal to the masses, that's what happens. Suck down
Uh,
the rabbit hole of stupidity. But
but yeah, and
Michael
then
Keaton, let's talk about him for a
Keaton.
second.
What do you think?
That's a heck of a casting. I mean,
Yeah.
it's Michael Keaton. I loved him in Spotlight. I disliked him in Birdman. Loved him in Batman, Beetlejuice, all that kind of stuff. Like he's one of the best doing it right now. Off a couple of Oscar noms. Not I have no idea how he's going to fit into this. I've heard a lot of Mysterio talk.
I heard Vulture actually.
Yeah. I feel like Mysterio probably be a little bit too out there unless they kind of tone it down a little bit. Because
No,
from what I understand, he's like this humongous guy with a fishbowl for a head.
yeah,
So,
they'd have to do some changes a little bit to make
uh,
them work, but
I don't know. I'm not as well versed on my Spider-Man villain stuff. So the fact that this movie's going to be in high school, obviously with the title Homecoming, alluding to the dances I never went to. Jeez. But no, I have no idea. Vulture sounds legit, so sure, let's go with that one.
but yeah, I hope it's Vulture just because that's a villain I really want to see.
But
There's
isn't he technically a Birdman though? Like, can we deal with
yeah,
the memes?
I know,
The
but
memes,
he
they
would be
get the
so
memes.
he would be so good as Vulture though.
I have no idea who Vulture is. So what?
Vulture is I haven't read up on him in a while, but he's basically he's I don't want to say he's not Birdman, but
He's a man. Who's also
think of Falcon but a villain and older and more intelligent.
well, he is bald, so that helps.
Um, but yeah, I mean, he would be a really cool villain. I mean, others I'd like to see is like Morbius the vampire, which I'm not sure if you actually know who that is. Um, but
Oh yes, because vampires in a young adult movie will go over great.
oh god,
I
but I still think that'd be cool. And then Mysterio, that'd be cool. But I mean, whoever he plays, it's gonna be great. It's Michael Keaton.
I still think there's a chance, and there's a chance that they might dip back into the pool, maybe do a doc or something like that. I doubt.
I
I
don't
understand they probably won't, but I still think we should consider that at least. So
I'd rather see if there's anyone I'd rather see them like retouch on. It's Venom, and they're already going about that the wrong way. But whatever. But we'll see. I'd just rather them do new villains that we haven't seen before because there's so many others.
Mm.
Like they've already gotten pretty much all the big ones like Green Goblin and Doc Ock.
yeah, unfortunately for them, they actually have villains to go to, unlike a majority of the other Marvel villains who just kind of have a B team. So
And then obviously, and then the title. I don't know of any unless maybe I missed something. I don't know of any storyline called Homecoming.
I did read that there was
Is there?
something like that in the comics.
Okay. But I'm not familiar with anything, so I have no idea what this means. Tom Holland said something about it being like, he said, let me read the quote. It really is a homecoming because throughout the movie, Peter's trying to find out who he is and where he belongs in the world. I don't know what that has to do with homecoming, but okay.
I mean, the fact that this is kind of, they've talked about this as a John Hughes kind of movie,
Okay.
it leads me to believe that Homecoming has something to play with him discovering himself, and then it deals with the final act. Like that's where my mind goes. So might be wrong, but I might be right. So who knows?
Okay. So there's that. Okay, and then next up, I don't know if you saw this. Skull Island or Kong Skull Island. I think it's better just call it Skull Island, but we got our first kind of little sneak peek at this.
We did.
Not exactly footage, but like behind the scenes with some stills and stuff. What'd you think? Did you see it?
I think I did. Hold on, I'll do a quick Google search to. Yes. Okay, I did see these.
Okay.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
What do you? Well, here we start us off. What do you think about it?
Well, I'm really excited for it. I'm just really excited for the whole Godzilla King Kong mashup that they're building towards. And
Jeez.
so ever since that was announced, I've been even more excited for this one because they're rebooting King Kong. I love some of the other King Kong movies, but this one I think could be really cool because they're not doing the go to New York fall off building thing again. They're doing something different, which
Yeah.
is
Did you
awesome.
ever watch that movie?
Which one, the original or
The
the
Peter Jackson.
Peter Jackson? Yeah, I really love that movie.
That was a chore to get through.
Oh, really?
I fell asleep at the end.
I think
I was so bored.
skip pretty much the first hour of the movie.
Actually,
And
I liked everything leading up to, and I didn't like anything on the island, to be honest with you. Just a part. I don't like jungles for some reason. I just think,
I guess we're gonna
especially
have
when it's full of like those terrifying things, like there were scorpions and giant bugs and stuff like that. I just can't. I can't handle that.
have an interesting conversation then
Yeah. Oh,
later then.
absolutely.
But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I thought the footage looked way better than I expected it to be. And then just the cast. You got just Brie Larson. Just give me more Brie Larson, and I'll be happy.
Hey, she's hosting SNL in a couple of weeks.
Is she?
May 7th, yeah.
Awesome.
With Alicia Keys as the musical guest, so that'll be a lot of fun.
Nice.
But I'll tell you, Jennifer Lawrence better watch her back because Brie Larson's taking her spot. That's kind of how it goes with young female stars. It sucks, but that's how it goes.
The rest of this guys. Sam Jackson, John Goodman, Jason Mitchell from Straight Outta Compton, Toby Kebbell. There was some Tom Hiddleston too. So it's a really, really awesome cast.
Mm-hmm.
The footage I saw looked really cool. I like this kind of new approach they're taking. It looks interesting, so I'm really excited.
Hey, don't forget John C. Reilly, my friend.
Oh, he's in this too? I didn't see that.
John C.
Cool.
Reilly's the best. He needs to be in more stuff. He should be in every Scorsese movie. That pisses me off. I love him so much. But yeah, let's see, 2017, so we got a little bit of time, so we'll probably see some footage at a later date. But
yeah, probably towards the end of the year.
Yeah, it could be interesting. But still, the King Kong taste hasn't fully washed out of my mouth, so I might take a little convincing.
Have you seen either the other movie, like the 30s or the 70s one?
I saw the 30s one a long time ago, but I haven't seen the 70s one.
Okay.
But and I don't. I feel like I should just stay away from anything King Kong just to kind of clear my palate.
All three are the same story. So.
Yeah, pretty much. But cool. All right, next.
All right, next
up.
Two things that are kind of just confirmed things that we've talked about already. We just kind of they're official now.
Mm-hmm.
Deadpool 2 is happening. Everyone's coming back. Tim Miller, Ryan Reynolds, the writers.
Really? That's actually kind of surprising to me. Oh, really? It didn't do that great at the box office. No, it currently stands at a budget of $58 million and a box office of $759. So that's the slam
Take notes,
dunk
Hollywood.
decision.
You can make movies for under $200 million.
Hey, how about that? I don't know how sustainable Deadpool is going forward, but if they take a 22 Jump Street approach and kind of go meta at it, even if they can anymore, that would be interesting because the movie has a great sense of humor, but how long is it going to last, and will it be a great sense of humor in 2018? You never know. How many changes? So
people have loved Deadpool, myself included, for a couple, almost 2 decades now. I don't think that's changing in 2 years. So, I don't think it has an actual date yet, but it's probably 2018.
Yeah, that would make sense. Unless this becomes a huge CGI, big budget monstrosity, which they probably won't do.
What I really think is awesome is what's the name? Tim Miller. I think it was him. Maybe it was the writers. They said they want the same budget for the sequel, which is awesome to me because it means they want to keep those same restrictions they had to make them think outside the box, which I think is awesome. So.
But what's another $10 million just because?
Well, I'm sure they'll maybe go up a few if they need to, but they really want to have those restrictions that made them make the best movie they could the first time. So
yeah, I've got a movie in my head of what Deadpool 2 will be like, so I'm hoping it exceeds that. But
Yeah. Oh, and they also did confirm Cable is coming in it. I don't know if you know who that is. I don't really know who that is, but he's going to be in
Nah, I use DirecTV. Sorry.
it.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm really sorry.
You tried.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, and then another thing that's now confirmed, official now, is Ben Affleck, The Batman, directed by Ben Affleck, starring Ben Affleck, written by Ben Affleck and Jeff Johns. It's happening.
Music
Probably coming
by
out in
Ben
October
Affleck.
2018. So that's,
Cinematography
I
by
think.
Matt Damon.
You think he'll get a role in
He'll
this
be the
movie?
best boy. He'll just get completely. No, I would love that'd be really cool. But we talked in our Batman retrospective. Matt Damon was up for Harvey Dent / Two Face, so I think
That's
that'd be
right.
pretty
Yeah.
cool. An origin story with Two Face. You know, that'd be fun. But yeah, kind of Warner Brothers kind of has to do this, and they've got to. They're pushing all their chips. It's so weird that they're gonna push all their chips in the table for Batman and not Justice League. That's amazing to me.
I mean,
That's kind of what Marvel's doing with Captain America. So
yeah, yeah. I mean, Batman was, regardless of whatever way you felt about Batman vs Superman, to most people, Batman was the best part of the movie.
yeah,
And that's even the people that hated the movie said that part. So I mean, it doesn't surprise me that they're probably going to put at least as much, if not more, pushing into the Batman stuff as the rest of it.
and I
So
stand by what I said earlier. Give me
what?
Mr. Freeze.
Oh God,
Give
no,
me Mr. Freeze. I'm telling
never.
you, man. You haven't seen the animated series. Those who have know that Mr. Freeze is amazing, and they did a great job with him in the video games, and the design up for the TV show looks really cool. So give me Mr. Freeze. Let's do it. Rock and roll. Come on. He hasn't been done justice, and he's an awesome villain. Just
I
don't call him
just
Mr. Freeze. Do like the Dark Knight thing where they don't call him Two Face, or they mention it in like kind of joking almost.
I mean, they call him Two Face just like as like a nickname.
Well, Gordon only says it once, just Two Face, Harvey Two Face.
Yeah, yeah,
But then they just refer to him as Harvey, just
yeah. True.
like Victor.
I don't know. Just Mr. Freeze has been destroyed in my mind for me. It's
You
like,
know, so was Daredevil. So was Daredevil. So was Wolverine, kind of. With
how was Wolverine destroyed?
X-Men Origins, I guess. I
Well,
don't.
that was fine. The character was nothing wrong with the character. It was the movie.
I never saw that
Everything
movie.
else- Oh, everything else about the movie was terrible.
I've never bothered.
Yeah, you don't need to. um, yeah,
Batman. Woo.
Batman.
That's,
Okay.
that's gonna be November, right? I think they announced.
There was two dates. There was October 2018 and November 2019, and I assume it's going to be 2018 because that's sooner. So it could be an October movie, which would be really cool because it's Halloween time.
I like November personally. November's my favorite month, so.
That's my birth month. Yay!
Well, never mind then. No, November's awesome. So.
All right. So yeah, now we're gonna jump from Gotham to Pandora.
Oh God. Hold on, let me get a noose together. 1 second. Tying knots, so I can kill myself.
Okay. So obviously, most of this news comes out of CinemaCon, which has been going on this week. And at the 20th Century Fox panel, James Cameron came out and he made the announcement that we've all known that Avatar has been getting. First it was going to be two sequels, make a trilogy, and then we're going to make a fourth movie because for the story. Now it turns out we're getting 4 Avatar sequels that are going to come out in 2018, 2020, 2022, and 2023. And each one is going to be its own standalone story, but when all brought together, tells one complete 5-part story. So, this is a lot to. I went originally from being like, oh, whatever, thinking like I just don't care anymore, to like, you know what? I'm not gonna say I'm like crazy excited because I mean I'm unlike you guys. I love Avatar.
You guys, I'm the only one here.
Well,
It's just
Cody is
me.
here. Cody's here in spirit.
That's true. we both talked our fair share of smack about Avatar.
But I actually just rewatched Avatar a couple of days ago because went out. And I still think it's a really well-made movie. Story, yeah, it's not original at all. We've seen it a million times. And the characters could be more interesting, but I mean, I think the performances are great. The visuals are phenomenal. The music is great. The action's amazing. It's a really epic spectacle. Still a little too long. But I think it's a really enjoyable, fun, awesome sci-fi epic. And I'm interested in seeing more of this world. So if James Cameron, and the other thing is, this is James Cameron. Like, I've learned to trust him because he's given me some of my favorite movies of all time, like Titanic, Aliens, Terminator, Terminator 2. Um, yeah, and I mean, Avatar is really good, not one of my favorites, but he's done incredible work. So I give him the benefit of the doubt. If he says he wants to make four more movies, he has a four-part story to tell. It's ambitious, and I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because I think he can do it. So
Okay, so here's from the sane point of view. No. Just, I mean, hey man, it's movies. These don't really matter. Like, it's at the end of the day, this is just entertainment. Like, that's all we're here for. So if this gets your rocks off, this gets you, if this checks the boxes for you, that's great. But as far as I'm concerned, who gives a shit? Like Avatar, yeah, it made a ton of money, but it has had no cultural impact. I mean, Titanic has 10 times the amount
yeah,
of just of like connection to people that Avatar does, and it was made almost 20 years ago now. And so I just don't know why. Is there really that much story that you can tell with Avatar that doesn't have to do with environmentalism, which you cram down people's throats as hard as you possibly could the last time. And four movies is just absolutely ridiculous. First of all, because it's four movies over the course of 8 years, so this guy's just going to be working nonstop. And I can.
I mean, he's
almost,
already been working nonstop on these.
well, then where's the movie? It's been freaking
It took
7
him 10 years to make Avatar.
Have they even Have they even started filming? Like, what is happening with it? Like, for movies that are, and more likely not, are going to be scripts written on cocktail napkins. I mean, it's just the time has passed, James. You're a smart guy. You've made some big movies, so go do that. You don't need Avatar. Nobody's asking for this. Nobody's crawling over themselves for Avatar. I mean, it's not like Star Wars where you leave a lot untold, and you leave a lot of conflicting things. Avatar is just, it's a pretty shallow, pretty basic movie that just so happens to have had a bunch of money dumped into it. Like it's really, I don't think there's really anything special there. I watched it when it came in the theaters, and I haven't had even the closest inkling to watch it again, like ever. It's one of my least favorite movies, and I feel like this is kind of this is a stupid point to make, but I'm gonna make it anyways because that's kind of my thing. How much money is he gonna put into this? Do you think overall in terms of budget?
For each movie overall, he's probably going to dump about, I want to say, 200 million each.
Okay, so okay, Avatar costs 240. So let's just say, for argument's sake, he dumps 250 million into these four movies. That's $1 billion. Think of all the good you can do with $1 billion. Or I guess if you want to make movies with the money, think about how many great student and up and coming filmmakers you can fund. But no, you're gonna be just the biggest egotistical a-hole in the world and keep making your blue space cat movies. Fine, James Cameron, just stop. You don't need to do this. Nobody's asking you to. Just take a step back and realize that this is a stupid idea, and just either retire or go or just give the money to somebody else. We don't need this anymore.
Hear me out though.
I
Okay,
tried.
just just here. Like, okay, so we're if you didn't like the movie, it's fine. I think there are elements of Avatar, not story wise, but in terms of the world and the mythology, there are things that can be built upon and developed and further explored, and we can see that we only saw one part of that planet.
And let me just say, other than the physics of it, that planet was pretty much ours. Two-legged, two-armed, humanoid things, a lot of trees, a lot of creatures that except for, I think, they're dragons or something like that had a basis in the current world. Like, with Harry Potter, you've got the world, and then there's just so much in Harry Potter, it's magic. So it's just blanket covering all. You can do pretty much anything. With Star Wars, it's an entire galaxy with the Force and all that stuff. Avatar, it's just a reimagination of the current world, which he reimagined that world to tell the story about environmentalism. So he kind of cuffed his hands together because there's what else is he gonna do? I mean, it's just a mirror world with different stuff to try to tell an allegory. Like, where are you gonna go with that?
there are other stories. James Cameron's a creator. He's one of the best creators we've ever seen. It's but to me, at least to me, in the first two Terminator movies and in Aliens, where he told fantastic stories, original stories.
Yeah, Aliens was a sequel, and
was
I
a
actually
sequel,
do
but
like
it's
The Abyss, and Terminator 2 was. I'll give him the credit for that one. I like The Abyss. Do you ever see that?
I haven't seen that yet. I
The
really want to.
Abyss, pretty cool. Pretty cool movie.
Yeah, I mean, Aliens, yeah, it took another property, but it did something different with it. It took it in a different direction, told a different story with the same characters, introduced new characters, took things in a new direction.
I mean, did it really though?
Yeah.
I mean, you got.
Newt?
Of course, you're gonna make a movie with that and just shoot stuff. Like that's. I never thought that was too genius of an idea to make Alien into an action movie. Like if you turn it into a drama or something like that, that'd be risky. But an action movie is pretty much he'd already done that with Terminator. So I don't know. But sorry, keep going.
I think he did Aliens before Terminator 2.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he did. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Point Josh.
Yeah.
3
Yeah,
points.
like look at Terminator. I mean, Terminator is one of the most. I don't know if I'd say groundbreaking, but in ways it's groundbreaking. It's a very original science fiction movie that he completely wrote by himself. It's one of the. I mean, it's probably still his most ambitious project because.
Wait, have I ever told you that I've never seen those movies?
You haven't seen Jesus Christ.
I haven't seen any of the Terminators. I'm
sorry.
sorry.
Watch the first two and then you're done.
Okay. I'll do that.
But I mean, to me he's such a brilliant creator, and in Avatar he created a really cool world that I want to see more of. I just want to see newer, more interesting stories in that world and further develop the characters, make new, different characters too. He said a lot of this one's I think is going to be underwater. We haven't seen much of that yet. That could be cool. I mean, we don't know. I mean, I think if he does it right, if he says there's about 4 movies worth of story that he wants to tell, I believe him. So
all I'm saying is, and we'll end it here because both of us have kind of stated our spots here, but ever since I've seen Avatar and the 9 years following it, I've spent a cumulative amount of maybe 10 minutes thinking about it in 9 years.
I think you should give it another shot. Just you don't have to really.
Okay, all right, I will. I'll watch Pocahontas again or something. How about that? It's pretty much the same story.
It's the same story, but you know what? So is Dances with Wolves. It's not the first time it's been retold. It's been retold a million times.
Yeah, but if it's 2009 and you're telling the same story just about beat by beat, then that to me is lazy. Like I said,
be said for so many movies.
Not the movies I like. Then I mean, Creed. Hello. Whoops. Sorry. But yeah, Avatar. We're getting more of them. I still don't think it's gonna. I don't even think it's gonna happen. To be honest with you, if I walk in, I don't think I'm ever gonna walk into a new Avatar movie. Like I'm never gonna see one ever again because it's just not gonna happen.
I can't completely disagree. This was supposed to come out in 2014.
Yeah, jeez.
So
actually, it was supposed to come out in 2012. Yeah, then 2014, and then every year since. So
yeah, so we'll see. He seems really confident this time, but he seemed really confident the last 6 times.
What has he been doing? Like
studying, writing, researching, exploring. I mean, he builds a language for the Na'vi in his movies. I mean, he's dedicated to really. I mean, it seems like he's pretty much single-handedly creating every aspect of this world that needs to be created. So if he's that dedicated to this, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. So.
Only it was original. But it's just, like I said, it's pretty much our world, except exaggerated.
What we've seen of it.
Well, you got a whole movie and you didn't show me anything, so I will go in pessimistically skeptical, as always.
Okay.
Great, let's move on.
All right. Now we're
not gonna be able to sleep tonight. I'm just so jacked up on Avatar. By the way, no, how about this? Dump Avatar and make the anime, the Avatar The Last Airbender. Make that. I'll be fine with that, James Cameron.
I still have never seen that show.
Great show. One of my favorites. But anyways, keep going.
Okay. So now we're going to jump over into trailer world.
Woo.
Okay, so I don't know. There's 4 trailers that came out this week. I don't know which ones. Have you seen all of them?
Probably.
Okay, there's Suicide Squad. Did you see this one?
No, I'm out on that. I'm out. I don't want it. The more I see, the more I'm gonna hate it. So, why don't you talk about it? What'd you like? What didn't you like?
Oh, I didn't see it.
You didn't see it? Great.
No,
Well then,
I'm not watching any more footage. I'm sold. So
and I'm the opposite. I'm just sitting on a shelf. I guess I'm gonna go stale.
all right.
Great.
All right. Well,
Next one.
from everything I've heard, everyone's loved the trailer. It had Ballroom Blitz as the trailer music, which is a great song. So I saw a couple stills from it. Looks awesome. Suicide Squad's coming. It's gonna be awesome.
Did you hear what Jared Leto did? He sent his cast members like sex toys and used
I love it.
condoms.
I love it.
That's horrible.
That's awesome.
That's the worst.
That's great.
Like, you can method act all you want, but don't be a dick.
That's not being a dick. That's method acting.
That's gross.
That's awesome.
Daniel Day-Lewis doesn't pull that garbage. Heath Ledger didn't do that.
So Heath Ledger didn't method act.
Yeah, he did.
No, he didn't. He wasn't completely in character on camera.
I thought he did. Huh.
I
Yeah,
don't think so.
maybe my sources are wrong, but God. I
I
hate
think it was funny.
Hot Topic Joker is the worst.
He's great. He's gonna be the best Joker ever.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I already like him better than
How
Jack
dare
Nicholson.
you? How dare you?
Because he's funny.
He's not. He's a douche. He's
He's great.
trailer park trash.
Joker's a douche. That's what the Joker is.
No, Joker's flamboyant and crazy and fun.
That's a douche to me.
How dare you? All right, next trailer.
We'll see. Okay, so next trailer jumped from DC to Marvel. Doctor Strange. We got a first trailer.
Yes, very interesting.
Just quick. I'm pretty sure you don't know anything. You don't know anything about Doctor Strange?
I know less than nothing at this point.
Okay. Yeah, this trailer basically shows pretty much it gives you the basis of his origin, and from there just shows some cool images of what we're gonna see him do.
I got a big Batman Begins vibe from it.
Yes.
Yeah.
To me this came out for kind of a hybrid of The Matrix and Batman Begins.
Okay.
Because-
Those are okay. That's an interesting marriage,
It's
but
definitely going on a journey to find what he's looking for, but it also has that kind of it's more what's the word sci-fi of the Matrix aspect where he's brought into this other world. So whereas Batman Begins is just kind of like training, but yeah, I think it looks freaking really cool. I'm really excited.
I mean, yeah, that first poster they released of him in the clock tower was like that was awesome. I love that.
Same
But
poster for Star Trek Into Darkness and
yeah. Benedict, can you just turn around? No, I have to face the camera with my back.
I did want to say about the other poster though. They released a second poster with a really cool design, and I'm just like, wow, Marvel can put out awesome
with his
original
fingers
posters.
in front of his face.
Yeah, the finger
Yeah,
one with the design.
Yeah.
That was really cool. So I prefer that poster.
Yeah, it's pretty
but yeah.
interesting.
The trailer though, I mean, the trailer looked really cool. I've heard a lot of people say it looks Inception-y, which is definitely true. Especially that one scene where like the world is like spinning, or whatever it's doing. Yeah, it looks really cool. It looks like it looks not maybe a little darker, but what it was really cool to me is like this did not look like a Marvel movie at all to me. So that's really interesting. I like that Marvel is kind of what they started doing with Winter Soldier and Guardians of the Galaxy. They're kind of doing different subgenres within their own superhero subgenre, where they're doing like a political thriller or a space opera or a heist movie with Ant-Man. Now they're doing like almost like a horror supernatural thing with this.
It's like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon almost, but for Doctor Strange stuff. Yeah, I mean it looks kind of interstellar-y to me in a way. Like it's got a very interstellar visual element to it.
Yeah.
But I'm not quite excited about it because I still don't. It's still Marvel, and I could give or take with them on some of these. But the fact that it's Cumberbatch and the fact that at the very least I'm going to get a really visually interesting looking movie, then sure, we're definitely gonna see it. So bring it on.
So far, and also I said that this is already, I think it's the most visually interesting Marvel movie to date.
Yeah.
Just the style and the way it just looks really.
Not that that's hard to do. I mean, they're pretty much cities and explosions. So.
But But and then we also, I mean, we got some looks at other characters. Tilda Swinton's the ancient one, with the bald cap, or maybe I don't know if she shaved her head. I don't think she did.
That would totally be a Tilda Swinton thing to do. Just shave her head. Love her.
And we got a small glimpse at Mads Mikkelsen's character, and
Best eyeshadow ever.
yes, I saw that picture. And also Rachel McAdams and who the other one?
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Chiwetel Ejiofor, that's one.
He's awesome.
We got a little glimpse at all of them. I'm really excited for all of them being this. So,
Great.
yeah, I'm really excited. Okay, and then 2 other trailers. Well, I'm sure we'll end it with the one that you're probably most excited about. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. Did you see this one?
I think I missed that one.
Okay.
What'd you think?
I didn't see it.
Great.
All right, you don't got to talk about it.
Because we're really excited. We won't be spoiled. I don't know.
I actually don't, I just don't want to see any more footage. I was sold one trailer, and I think it looks awesome, so I'm really excited.
Awesome.
And then we'll get to our final trailer, which is Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Oh yeah, I forgot for a second. I'm like, what's he talking about? But yes, I did see this. I watched it with my some friends who love Harry Potter's just as much as I do.
Really?
And I fangirled the most out of anybody, as it's expected.
Of course.
His looks the first trailer, I had my eyebrow raised. I was like, okay, this looks. It looks different, but then once everybody's running around in that basement shooting spells at each other, and you got Colin Farrell doing his thing, I was sold. It looks to be funnier, like intentionally funnier than the Harry Potter movies were, which goes to show because they had to stuff a lot of plot in there, and this was its own thing, so they don't really not tied to anything. But it looks amazing. It's friggin' Harry Potter. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I was like, the second I saw this like drop, I was watching TV or something else. I was scrolling my phone. I was like, oh, Fantastic Beasts trailer number 2. My eyes like jaw dropped and flew over to my laptop. I watched it. And I was freaking out the whole time. And then we heard the big Harry Potter music in it. That was awesome. Just hearing that again in a trailer that made me almost tear up a little bit.
I cried when they mentioned Dumbledore.
Yeah,
like,
and Dumbledore.
We didn't even see him. Just to mention.
Name dropped him. Do you think he's gonna be in the movie?
Nah.
I kind of hope he is, but I mean, I don't want them to recast Michael Gambon. But
they can make him look younger.
They can.
I mean,
they did it in Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah, think of the pensive scenes.
But I don't know.
Dress him down a little bit.
I feel like we would have heard of him being in the movie though.
Plus, by the way, when he spoiler alert died in Deathly Hallows, he was like 130 or 120 years old. So there's room to wiggle around, and I mean, who's gonna care? Like, if it's Gambon as Dumbledore, like, I don't give a crap. I just be like, this is great. It's Dumbledore. There he is. Yeah. So.
But yeah, I thought it looked great. Visually, it looks very much like the latter Harry Potter movies because David Yates is coming back.
That guy's he's busy.
Yeah.
Jumping from big blockbuster to the next. It's like crazy.
But it also looks like it's kind of its own thing too. Well, it's not completely Harry Potter because it's I think 70 years earlier.
Yeah,
in a different location.
Yeah, hold on. When's this set? It's in the 40s.
20s.
The 20s. Okay, so he's about 40-ish then. So that might be a little bit tougher to do.
Yeah, you could maybe make that work. I don't know.
Yeah, he was still.
They did it with Michael Douglas and Ant-Man. So.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. But yeah, just the scene of first of all, seeing Colin Farrell.
Yeah, he looks great.
And you get the scene where they're at that, like, it looks like a political rally or something like that, and there's mayhem going on, and they're underneath, and everybody's firing spells. I've got it up. I've got it queued up here. And then Newt going into the briefcase. I'm in love. I can't.
I love that final scene. I also love that Dan Fogler is in the movie. He's the Muggle.
Mm-hmm.
At the end that he's kind of traveling around with. He was in Fanboys. He played Hutch. I love the guy.
Oh, okay.
And I think he's gonna be great in this movie. It looks really funny. Like he's kind of that, like, I guess the straight man to Newt Scamander, who I don't know if he'd be the more funny guy, but he's more whimsical in a way. So I think that's gonna be a really fun relationship to see. And yeah, just everything about this, I'm loving everything I see. I think the cast looks awesome. I think the tone feels right. It feels more like the first 3 Harry Potter movies. where it's more lighthearted rather than darker and more kind of grim at times.
Yeah, visually to me it looks most like Order of the Phoenix.
That's what I was thinking too, because especially that not a court scene, like the
Dungeons or whatever.
Yeah, the dungeon stuff definitely reminded me of the Ministry. So yeah, I'm totally sold on this. I'm done watching footage, so I'm very excited.
Nice. Yeah, it's gonna be the best. I can't wait. My most anticipated movie of the year. So bring it on. It's a few more months to go. A lot more months, but great. So is that all we got today?
Yep, that is all.
That should. And we know this week is just gonna be nothing, just because that's how it works. But that'll give us a chance for game night. So woo! All right. So without further ado, let's move on to tonight's feature. Let's talk about The Jungle Book. So before we start off, there was a thought that was running through my mind while I was watching this, and it's the fact that I have not seen The Jungle Book in a very long time. Like I haven't seen the movie itself. So I want to start off with you, Josh. So when was the last time you saw The Jungle Book? Has it been a while? Has it been is it recent? Like
I can't remember.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So it's been a while.
Yeah.
And so I guess your basic thoughts then. What did you think about The Jungle Book?
I loved it. I was actually shocked by how much I loved it. This is my favorite movie of the year so far.
Really?
I loved Jon Favreau's The Jungle Book. I aside from one little thing that bothered me, I think this is a incredible film. It's so much fun, has so much heart. It looks incredible. The visuals are phenomenal. The kid surprised me because I usually don't like kid actors, but I really like the kid. I thought it was great. I thought that the story, obviously it's the same story, but it was just done really well. I loved this movie. It was I almost went to see it again today, but I don't want to spend money. But I had just such a great time watching it. I really want to see it again, hopefully soon. And I loved it. I almost just about every second of this, I was smiling from ear to ear. And this is Disney, not just done right, but done to near perfection. I cannot get enough of The Jungle Book.
I agree, Car. Beep beep indeed. Yeah, I echo a lot of to what you said. I was also just kind of wrapped up. I was sort of caught up in the movie, and I was I wasn't so much smiling as I just got really involved because I like animals, and I remembered the story because I definitely seen the old animated one. I feel like there was let me do a quick check. I feel like there was a live action version.
There was one in the 90s.
I'm just making sure that it's the right one because I have this very strange memory where like I was at dinner with my mom and dad, and like I got sick and they just put me in front of a movie, and I'm pretty sure it was The Jungle Book. I'm not 100% sure, but I definitely have seen the animated one. That's classic Disney. So I'm familiar with it. I overall I enjoyed the movie quite a bit. If on the year it's just because we've had for some reason a pretty great year. It's a couple of things that I didn't really care for that were pretty big, kept it from being too high. Like I think I've got 12 movies logged on my favorites of 2016, and it's about 7th. So, which doesn't speak to how much I liked it, because when I overall I really really like it. My grade later on will reflect that. But overall, a very enjoyable time at the theater. And if anybody who I saw this movie with is listening somehow, I'm sorry for yelling so much and squealing, because I have no self-control. But cool. Let's go into some further likes and dislikes here, Josh. So what particularly you want to talk about?
First, I guess I'll talk about the kid real quick, because
let's start with him.
I'm not. I think I saw your thing of it. You weren't big on him, but
name is Neil Sethi.
Neil Sethi, I think. And yeah, I'm not a huge kid actor fan. Thank you, Jake Lloyd. But
you did this to me. You did this to me.
But this kid, I was like, we'll see. I was hearing he's really good. I was like, he's still a kid actor, acting to nothing on the green screen. So we'll see how he does. He's never really done much before. Kid did it. I thought he was charming. I thought he was likable. I thought he was funny. I thought he got me invested. I think this kid was great. I was really shocked just at how much I enjoyed watching him. What do you think?
I'm kind of the opposite. I like I said, I mentioned in my letterbox.com/Mason Merritt, if you want to follow me there. I mentioned there that like in a world where we have Pierce Gagnon or Gagnon or however you pronounce his last name, I can get the Indian kid right, but I can't get the American one. That's interesting. But in the world that we have child actors like him, especially in a place like Disney, I feel like there's not really much of an excuse to go with somebody who I think was this bad. Like, I know he's acting to nothing, even though he's not really, because I don't know if you saw some of the behind the scenes things, they had like sock puppets pretty much that
Yeah, I
were
saw
colored
that
blue
stuff.
to like for him to react against. So he had some to work with, but just his delivery, like I can't remember. There was this one scene early on. So spoilers for the Jungle Book. I mean, screw it, no spoiler alert. We're gonna talk about the movie. If you haven't seen this or at least know about it, then screw you. I'm just kidding. But there's a scene where he and Bagheera are walking to the man village, and they're just like walking through, and Bagheera's like he's super attentive to what's going on because he's big. He's a big old kitty. That was what got a lot of the screaming, by the way. I was just like, it's a kitty, but they're just like walking through, and this kid just kind of he's doing what kids do. He's just talking and talking and talking, just being obnoxious, kind of like I am today. But it was just really bad. Like he was really wooden, and he just sort of didn't. He just kind of gave up in
Really?
some
Oh
spots.
man.
I don't know. Maybe I was being too harsh. Maybe I'm being too harsh on him. But when I was watching, I was just like, ugh, okay, that's not very good.
I mean,
But to his credit though, in the moments where they're not saying, "Hey, act here," like say these words. I thought he was fantastic. When he was just being a kid, then he was great. Like that scene when he got the like what was it, like apples or some kind of fruit from a tree,
yeah,
and
with the
he like
squirrels.
yeah, he gets him down, then he sees the squirrel. Like in those moments, he was great. Like where he's doing, not saying. But whenever he opened his mouth, it just for me it was just cringeworthy. Like especially at the end when he tries to be all tough. It's like, oh, he's a man now. It's like, no,
I love that.
he's still 8 years old. And
Uh,
if you're gonna yell at the big tiger, I'm not afraid of you, then don't like don't totally evade him. Like don't run away from him all the time.
yeah.
Because you're obviously afraid of him because he's a tiger and he'll kill you. So I don't know. That didn't work for me. In the general scope of things, it kind of it clumped up with another issue that I had that we'll get to in a minute. But yeah, he was all right. He just didn't blow me away. And in a
Okay.
movie where all the other acting was so great, when you don't even see them, it just sort of stuck out. But what are you gonna do? All right. What'd you think? So any more thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, tons. The visuals, the fact
Yeah.
that
All
this
right.
was,
Yeah.
I know you have an issue with this.
Okay, here we go.
But I thought the CGI. I'm a big proponent of practical effects. I think they could shoot. I was like, why don't they shoot it on location and use motion performance technology? They could do that. I think that'd be great. You know what? They proved to me that you can do it in other ways and still make it just as compelling, because I thought from the opening scene onward, I was like, wow, holy crap, this is a real place. I thought the jungle looked phenomenal. And I thought there's a couple of times here and there where, for the most part, I mean, they're never going to look 100% realistic, the animals, because that's just, you can't do that, because you cannot 100% perfectly, because you can make it
I
look
don't know,
realistic.
man. I thought Bagheera was pretty legit.
Yeah, that's the one I love the most. But
Yeah.
in overall, like you're never going to be able to 100% capture real animals' exact movements, especially if you have them talking, because it's just you can't. The only way to make it look as perfectly real, 100% real, is if you get a real animal, and you can't have real leopards and bears and tigers
Yeah, that
with
kid
a
would be
10-year-old kid. He
he'd
would
be
be
dead. He would be dead, dead, dead.
but you can, they did, I think, almost as good a job as they could have, not having real animals, and it looks incredible. I think, especially the panther, Bagheera, he looked phenomenal. There was a couple shots where I was like, "That is a real panther." I'm convinced that's a real panther.
Hmm.
And I think the one that I think probably looked the not realist to me was Baloo.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
just because I don't know why. I don't know why. It just didn't. Maybe I don't know what a bear looks like. I don't know. Um, I've never seen a bear in person.
Really? Wow.
As far as I can remember, maybe at a zoo, but
You should go to a gay bar then. Heyo. Oh wow.
oh my
Okay. All right.
But I think all the animals looked really. The one that I was confused about is are orangutans really that big?
Um.
Because Louis was like a giant. He was huge.
Well, let's see. He says he's a Gigantopithecus.
Okay,
So according to this, they're extinct.
is that a real thing?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a
okay.
Gigantopithecus is an extinct genus of ape that existed from 9 million years ago to as recent as 100,000. China,
What?
India, Vietnam. They
I'll buy it.
stood up to 10 feet and weighed up to 1,200 pounds. So,
All
uh,
right. All right.
it's
Well,
pretty
I was
legit,
just
I think.
I was just like, is this like some kind of made up fantasy world now? I was like, that
Nope,
was weird to me, but okay, it's real.
that's a real
Um,
thing.
yeah, and then all the other animals, I thought everything looks really great. And just I think the reason this works as well as it does because the entire environment is CGI.
Hmm.
Because instead of trying to just take a real environment and put a bunch of CGI creatures into it, like in something like Jurassic World, where it doesn't completely blend perfectly, here it works because you're creating the environment that they exist in, and
Hmm.
so you can make it work better.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, I think it works really. Obviously, I think there has been other movies where they've done that better, like the two Planet of the Apes movies, um, and then what was the other one I was gonna say? I don't know. There's another one, but I think it can be done that
Avatar.
way.
Hmm.
No, that was actually shot on a soundstage.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Hmm.
I think it was. I might be wrong. But yeah, this I think they did a really incredible job with the visuals, making everything look believable, and the kid, the way he blends in with the animals, and there was just the way he interacts with them. I thought looked incredible. But again, you're never going to get 100% realistic animals because animals talking is never going to look real because animals don't talk. But what do you think of the visuals?
Yeah, it's good that we talked about Avatar earlier, so I don't have to
Yeah,
explain myself too much. But I still, if it's made on a computer, in my mind, I just I can't get too jazzed about it because I know it started off with a computer, and also the movie, bad idea, I think, to start off in such rapid like motion. Like when I sat down to the movie and I didn't see it in 3D, but I was in a good spot where I could take in the screen and nothing was blurred or anything. But that opening shot and just the opening sequence just it looked bad to me. I was like, oh
because it
god,
was
this
the
is
camera was moving so fast and it was kind of
yeah.
blurry.
It just that's
Yeah,
what happens when you get these all CGI.
I think
It looks
I've
bad
I
if you
don't
move
think
too
that's because of
fast.
the CGI. I mean I've seen that. I've noticed that a lot recently. I think it's the 3D. I think it's
I
because
didn't see it in 3D,
well,
but
I think it's but because of the way they're formatting it.
okay.
It's because it's kind of meant to be a 3D spectacle.
Hmm.
When it's not in 3D, you kind of notice the blur more. Um,
Okay.
which is what I think Peter Jackson was kind of trying to avoid doing with his Hobbit movies, but that's another story. But I think that's something that's kind of always I've noticed it, but it doesn't bother me that much just because
Hmm.
it's like it's
Yeah.
you're never gonna be able to completely avoid motion blur.
Yeah,
So,
it definitely evened out towards the end. Like I think after maybe 10 minutes, maybe my eyes adjusted to it or just it was
your eyes
better.
definitely adjust.
But it definitely smoothed out quite a bit. But just the fact that I know none of this is real, like as good as it can look, it's never gonna look as good as like you said, practicality. So I always had that. Not that I want it to be, but it was just sort of in the background. I was like, oh, this is nice, but it's not real. Like it's so I can't get just as a moviegoer, that's kind of my personal preference, and I just can't get too jazzed about it. But thankfully for the movie, everything other than that, the kid and then the CG stuff was fantastic. It was great. So let's actually talk about the voice cast here.
Yeah,
Uh, I see the cool thing is that I knew that this movie was coming out, and then Andy Serkis had a Jungle Book movie coming out,
yeah. I
but
don't know how I feel about that anymore.
I, I why not? Who can, I mean,
Because it's like two
we'll
Jungle
see.
Book movies in 2 years. It's like,
Yeah, we've had worse. Like the White House action movies. We had two of those in a year.
but it's like, what else can you do with the Jungle Book? Is it going to be the same exact story?
Yeah, you never know.
We'll
I
see.
guess we'll find out. But no, so I knew, and I've read up on both these movies, so I knew both of them exist. But so like the casting kind of got jumbled in my head. I was like, wait, is Christian Bale in this one? I can't remember. So I kind of went into this with an idea of who was going to be in it, but for the most part, I didn't really know. First of all, great to hear Gary Shandling. Probably for the last time. He
That's
was
right.
Icky. He was like that little rodent thingy at the beginning.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. It was good to see him. He's got a he's the best. I miss him. But and then Bill Murray's Baloo was great casting there. Ben Kingsley's
Yeah.
Bagheera was a little strange, but I kind of got used to it, and I ended up liking it mostly because Cat. Idris Elba was the best villain of the year as Shere Khan. Like that's hands down. I'm looking at.
Yeah, he was incredible.
Oddly enough, he did voice work for another movie I like this year, Zootopia. So there you
Oh,
go.
what?
He played a bull, and he was just
Cool.
he was a lot funnier in that one. Let's just say, but he blows Lex Luthor out of the water. That's for sure. Shere Khan is a badass.
Not a hard thing to do.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you said it. Lupita Nyong'o. I didn't know she was Raksha, the wolf mom. I only found that out
Yeah.
afterwards. So
I loved her.
maybe I just don't know her voice, but she seemed to do a relatively okay job. Scarlett Johansson as Ka was. I don't care. I don't care for Scarlett Johansson just as an actor in real or not, or if it's just her voice or whatever. Not a fan. So thankfully that scene was 5 seconds long. But what I really want to get to is Christopher Walken as King Louis. Now, as I may have mentioned on this podcast, Christopher Walken is one of my favorite people. He is Christopher Walken, and he is nobody else, and he doesn't care if you don't like it. He's just gonna do his thing. And I know I don't know where you stand on this one, Josh, but just that whole King Louis sequence was head over heels, my favorite. Like just the best part of the movie for me was Christopher Walken and the song he sang, and just the fact that it's
Wow.
Christopher Walken's voice on this 10-foot Gigantopithecus. Like it's great. I loved it.
We're going to be completely opposite sides of the spectrum here. Actually, that was my one issue with the movie.
Really?
Yeah. I thought the song. I mean, I thought Walken was great as Louis. I thought the character was great. The song came completely out of nowhere.
So
it's like I get it, like it's fan service, but it's like you gotta find. But it's like you get the song in there, but it's like either commit to doing a musical or don't have music in it. It's like I think the way they handled Bare Necessities worked well because it was just they're kind of just chanting it. But this is just like, oh, let's just break out into song in the middle of the movie, and then no, okay, that was out of nowhere and weird, but okay. The song was great. It's just it didn't fit. I don't know.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, that it's really the only full-fledged song because it's got like I think Bare Necessities was a little bit more contained.
Yeah, it was just kind
subtle.
of like casually did it.
Yeah, it was just sort of this. I get what you're saying, but that wasn't the original Jungle Book. I don't think it was a part of the yeah, it definitely wasn't a part of the book. So that was a song from the movie, from the old animated movie. And I don't know, I didn't mind it. I thought I love that song, and I love Christopher Walken, and it was I've been humming it in my head ever since I saw the movie.
It's great. It's just I thought it was out of place. I don't know.
Well, just because it's out of place doesn't mean it's awesome. It's not awesome. And it's not like this movie is okay, if you get that song in the middle of Captain America Civil War, then okay, fine, it's out of place. But there's also talking animals, and it's relatively well. I don't want to say it's lighthearted, but it's
definitely not a movie. I don't think it's a movie really for kids. So
yeah, sure. I watched worse when I was a kid. I don't know. There's some savage stuff hidden around in kids movies, but no, I guess all right. If that didn't work for you, it worked for me. I loved it. That was my favorite.
I think that it's just like if I was listening to the song like on its own, the song is awesome. I think it's especially hearing Christopher Walken sing it. It's great. I just don't know. I think
he totally Shatnered that song. He just tell you, man cub, want the red flower? Come on, let's make a deal. It's getting better. It's getting better. Wow. I do it in the shower every morning. Oh, it better be. But, no, that was I love that.
Yeah.
I feel like if they, because I wanted them to to go all out on Bare Necessities, because I love that song. That's a great song. So do you think if they had done that and did go all the way and make a song out of both, do you think that would have helped?
Um, what do you mean, like for both?
Like
For
hypothetically, if they did Bare Necessities like they did in the animated movie, where it was just there's the bareness, like it was a whole sequence of like
it would have
musical
made it
sequence.
better, but then it would have just been another problem because it's like, oh, because I feel like if you're gonna do musical sequences, do a musical. Don't just have a couple two musical sequences in it that just kind of happen. Because it just feels unearned or unnecessary to me.
Hmm.
But
It's a Disney movie.
that's true. But I don't know. I don't know.
Did you see Cinderella?
Yeah, I loved Cinderella.
Did they have those? Did they
Nope.
put in the musical sequences?
Cinderella, they hint at the songs.
Lame.
See, I much prefer the way they did the music in Cinderella, because they kind of like they give you that little nice nut fan service, knowing those songs we're kind of like humming them or it's in the score, but they never have break out into song, and I thought it was done really well there.
I like it when movies just kind of, especially in a movie like this where they just let's have some fun with it. Let's go away from the murderous, the mass murdering tiger, and let's just sing a song about Man Cub and Bare Necessities. So I don't know. That didn't. I've got Christopher Walken goggles on. I completely recognize that. But
And the cool thing I really noticed about him, did you see those shots where there was really close up of his eyes?
no,
Those were Christopher Walken's eyes. If you really look into the eyes of King Louie,
that's hysterical.
it was really cool the way they did that.
Hold on. Google Images to the rescue. Did they do? Did they do motion capture?
It wasn't motion capture. They created his eyes.
Hmm.
I thought that was really cool.
Unfortunately, he was sort of shrouded in the darkness. But all right, here we go. I don't see it 100%. I'll take your word for it. But yeah, sure. He definitely had Christopher Walken's eyes. But but yeah, that was the point being that was a great sequence. So let's talk about Shere Khan for a second.
Shere Khan, wow.
It blows Benedict Cumberbatch's Khan out of the water, that's for sure. What'd you think?
I loved him. I thought the second he came on screen, I'm not exaggerating myself. I was scared of him. I was legitimately scared of this character.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he does some things in the movie that legitimately shock me.
Yeah,
like
that's
through the wolf.
Spoil away, man.
Yeah. And one other thing, I just had to get to that. Get on the wolf. The wolf puppies are adorable. I just had to say that. I'm a dog person, not a cat person. So when I saw the wolf puppies, I lost my mind.
Bagheera did it for me. I cried. Oh my god. This is big kitty.
We both got our animal fix in this.
Actually, hold on. Do you remember in the movie The Giant Squirrel? Do you remember him?
Yes, I think.
That was the voice of Sam Raimi.
Was it really?
Yeah. Heck of an IMDb credit for him.
Wow, that's weird.
I wish I knew this going in. I would have paid more attention. But
going back to Shere Khan, Idris Elba blew me away in this movie. I mean, his voice was great. He was like, I don't want to say he was like funny and scary, but he was charming in the way he was terrifying, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like he's just every scene he's there is just like, I'm kind of interested in learning more about you, but you scare the crap out of me. Stay away from me.
Yeah, just stand over there, okay?
On the other side of the mountain, we can have a conversation there. Yeah, I loved him.
Like I said, best villain of the year, without a doubt. Like and that's all the credit there goes to Idris Elba. He's got some pipes on him, and he's just scary as hell. Yeah. So, love Shere Khan.
I thought the animation for Shere Khan was great. I thought it looked.
Oh yeah, especially the face. Like the face killed me.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the third act, because it was very Lion King-y to me, and it kind of frustrated me with how Mowgli pretty much burned the forest down, or tried to almost burn part of the forest down. The whole thing that he goes through, where it's like, I'm not afraid of you, and I could have done without that.
They kind of pulled a Titanic, where he says, "I'm done running from you," and then he runs from him.
Yeah, like what the hell's up with that?
But I didn't mind it. I mean, I thought it was fun, and
Mm.
I thought I thought the big epic showdown was awesome. I had a great time watching that. Especially with when they started reciting
Oh, God, that
what
was
is
the
it called?
worst.
Oh, that
That
was
was the worst.
what's it called? The wolf.
I am the wolf.
Yeah,
Tried and true.
that was awesome. I love that stuff. It was that just felt very Disney to me.
That reminded
Um,
me of like, no, I'm Spartacus. I'm Spartacus. Like,
and everyone's joining in. I thought that was great. And then uh, something I've noticed is Disney movies just kind of, I don't know if this is on purpose, they all tend to end with fire.
yeah,
Have
man.
you noticed that all those classics like
'Cause Cinderella,
Lion King,
Cinderella
uh,
becomes an arsonist, as we know. She just starts burning
Beauty and
folks'
the
house down.
Beast,
Yeah.
um, you know, Hunchback of Notre Dame, even Aladdin, I think they all have kind of this big epic ending sequence with things on fire. I've noticed that. It's kind of funny.
It's the great destroyer and the great creator, fire. The
The
red
red
flower,
the
man.
flower. Was that from the original movie? Do you know, or is that?
It didn't sound. It didn't sound familiar to me. I think they might have changed that one up, but I'm
I
probably wrong on
thought
that
that was
one.
cool. The way they came up with that.
Um. So other than that, what are anything else we didn't cover that you wanna talk
Just
about?
I felt like I was shocked how like emotionally invested I was in it. Like especially the first scene that I really picked up on that was when Mowgli says goodbye to his mom. Um, and
Mm.
Lupita Nyong'o does a great job.
Hmm.
And I was like choking up. I was like, oh my God, he's leaving, and she's saying goodbye. She's like, you are my son. And I was like, oh my God, this is like hitting me. I thought it was that's stuff like from there on. I was like into it. I was so invested. I thought it really got me a lot of times. In this also the scene where Baloo tells Mowgli to leave.
That made no sense, but
Well, that was great. I thought it was kind of just him, you know, getting him to leave.
hmm. All right. Well, so I looked it up on Wikipedia. So here's how the animated movie ended. So so Mowgli. I'll start here. A storm gathers. A depressed Mowgli encounters a group of friendly vultures who accept him as an outcast. Shere Khan appears shortly after, scaring off the vultures and confronting Mowgli. Baloo rushes to the rescue and tries to keep Shere Khan away from Mowgli, but is injured. And when lightning strikes a nearby tree and sets it ablaze, the vultures swoop in to distract Shere Khan, while Mowgli gathers flaming branches and ties them to Shere Khan's tail.
I remember that.
Terrified of fire, the tiger panics and runs off. So,
That
they
I
kind of
like
had to
this
do
ending
something.
better.
Yeah, it's yeah, I guess so because they didn't really
They kill the tiger in
have
this
the
one.
nards to whack him, but that's a creative decision. But all right, well I'm done. I've said what I wanted to say. So
Um,
you
do I have
content?
anything else to say? Let me think.
Say what you need to say.
Great song.
No, not as good as I want to be like you. I'm telling you, man. Look at that. I've YouTube, man. Like, look that song up. It's amazing. He's just, it's so good. He just calls him man cub the whole time. I loved it. But anything else?
I mean, no, I'll say this. I also thought the action was really cool. It's not like an action heavy movie. But it's like there was like again like the third act, the big kind of throwdown a bit. And some of the more kind of just intense sequence. I mean, it's pretty intense. I
Hmm.
mean, it's a kids movie, I guess. But I mean, I wouldn't show this to a 5-year-old just because I feel like they'd be scared out of their minds. But that's just me being the parent that I am not. So I don't know, but it's pretty intense, and I thought it worked well, and the action was really thrilling to me. Just pretty much every time Shere Khan is on screen, and
Yeah.
I wanted this to happen again. There was a fight between Shere Khan and um, the Panther. Can't remember his name.
Bagheera.
Bagheera. That I was like, I want to see this for like 10 minutes, and it didn't happen. But
Well, because
uh,
Bagheera got his ass beat twice.
yeah,
Like, he just, Shere Khan just slapped him and kept going. That was great.
I just want to see two big cats fight in live action,
I
and it
can
was
just go
cool.
home and watch My Boys do that.
The one thing I'll say is something that's been thrown around because they're doing all these live action Disney remakes.
Hmm.
And they're doing the one that hasn't come up yet is The Lion King. And
Nah.
I was originally like, nah, I don't really think I want to see that. After seeing this movie, I want to see a live action Lion King. I think it can work, and I think it could be epic.
You can't do better than The Lion
You
King.
can't beat it, but you
So why
can still
try?
make a great because you can make a great movie.
Well,
It doesn't have to be better.
we
It
already
doesn't
have a
have to
great
be.
movie. It's called The
It
Lion King,
doesn't have to be better.
animated.
It can be another version that's
Yeah,
awesome.
I think they're only gonna do this if they feel like they can bring something to it. And The Lion King, it's already Hamlet with lions, so there's not much you can improve on that one. So I would
I
say,
think they
for
can do
me,
it.
I'd say leave it alone.
I say the way they'll do it, I think they'll kind of do it similar as they could kind of not make it a musical because watching lions run around, sing live action lions sing
Well, if you're
on
gonna make it with the
top of
songs,
hippos.
like if you're not gonna have The Lion King with Hakuna Matata, you kidding me? No, you got that's a horrible idea.
I think it'd work. I mean,
No way.
do it the same way they did Bare Necessities.
Nah, no,
Yeah,
no.
that's the
I
way I would do
vehemently
it.
disagree.
But yeah, I think that now I'm convinced they can do it. I guarantee they're talking about doing it. So because money.
What's that quote from Jurassic Park? Just because you can doesn't mean you should. There, something
Well,
like that.
Jeff Goldblum, you are wrong in this case.
Never. He's never wrong. I just give me the Great Mouse Detective. That'd be fun.
Oh my God.
You ever see that?
I don't think so. No.
Great movie.
Is that?
It's Sherlock Holmes with mice. So
I
it's
thought I always confused that one with what was the other
The
one?
Rescuers.
Yeah,
Not Rescuers
aren't,
Down Under though.
aren't they the same thing?
Rescuers Down Under is the sequel. Great Mouse Detective is my favorite. I like that more than Lion King, to be honest
Oh
with
my God,
you. Just because it's
I
Sherlock
haven't seen it.
Holmes.
So, yeah, but yeah.
Vincent Price plays a guy named Professor Ratigan, who's a bad guy. It's amazing.
Is he a rat?
Yeah.
Oh,
All right, let's give this a grade. Josh, you
okay.
start.
I'm going 9.5.
Okay, wow.
Love.
I'll go 8. I feel like 8's I liked it. I liked it a lot. It just CGI and then the kid just sort of brought it down for me. They were just sort of I couldn't really get over those two as much as I tried, but it was a fun time at the movies. Definitely one of the most visceral reactions I've had to a movie all year. So it was a great theater experience. But all right,
Nice.
let's move on to watching, reading, listening to. Get us started, Josh.
Okay, so something I watched this week, that I've had downloaded for a while, but I never got a chance to watch it until recently.
Hmm.
It's a fan edit of 3 movies that are called Star Wars Episodes 1, 2, and 3. And it's called Star Wars: The Blackened Mantle. Have you heard of it?
No.
Okay. It is. This movie is phenomenal. It's the prequels that maybe not the one that should have been, but here's what it is. Somebody took. It's basically the story of, not even the story of Episode 3. It's taking the footage of the prequels with Japanese uh, uh, redubbing tracks. So they're all spoken in Japanese, but they wrote new subtitles. So he basically rewrote the entire movie, using footage of all the 3 movies, and used English subtitles so you can understand what they're saying. And it shows Episode 3 flashing back to pieces of Episode 1 and Episode 2, bringing it up to Episode 3. And it's brilliant. And if you're a Star Wars fan and you didn't like the prequels, like most sane people, then this is to me, this is the definitive fan edit. I know there's tons of them, but to me, this is the one to watch. Um, I I loved it. I thought it was incredible. I was really into it. There's actually a couple plot twists that, even as someone who's seen the movies a million times, I didn't see coming, because there's something they do with a certain character that is really, really, really cool. Some people will hate it, but I thought it was awesome. And it completely makes General Grievous actually an interesting character. So,
Bite your tongue.
no, he sucks in the original movies.
I love General Grievous.
Yeah, they made him
He's so
actually.
cool.
They actually do find a way to make him cool in this version.
He is cool.
No, he's not.
Got 4 lightsabers. Who else has 4 lightsabers? Nobody. General Grievous.
Flash and Substance, doesn't do anything until
Well, then why do
no,
people like Darth Maul? That's all I'm saying.
because the Clone Wars made him a character.
It's dumb. It's not in the movie, doesn't count. But
Yeah.
Blackened Mantle, interesting.
Yeah, It's really
Are
awesome.
you okay with the fact that Topher Grace initially brought this to prominence?
Well, I mean, he's not the first person to do something like
But
that.
he's
He's
famous.
the first famous person to do something like that.
That's pretty cool, though,
But
Topher.
yeah, I've always wanted to see his version.
Mm.
It's like 90 minutes. So
But the catch is you have to watch every single episode of that '70s show
I've already done
in
that.
succession with him in the room.
Well, I haven't done that. I don't know if I could do that, especially after what he did to Venom. But
I tell you, him in Interstellar is the weirdest casting decision in the last 15 years. I never understood
he
that.
was in that. Oh my God.
He was good though. I thought he was
don't-
great.
Was he in
They
it?
didn't ask him to do much, but what he did, he was
I
all
thought that
right.
was Casey Affleck, or did he play someone else?
No, he played somebody else.
Okay, I don't. I
You
haven't seen
gotta
it.
watch that movie again, man.
I don't want to.
All right. As for me, I've been I've been watching a lot of movies. So I saw two brand new 2016 movies I saw one last Sunday and I just finished watching one a little while ago today. So the first one I saw was Midnight Special. I've been bitching about the fact that it's in limited release and we haven't been able to do an episode on it. So since our schedule looks pretty tight, we're probably not going to be able to do a full episode, so I'll give my thoughts here. I really, really dug this movie. Spoiler alert, like I'm really like, is it okay if I spoil this for you, Josh? It's not really spoiling it. I'm just drawing a comparison.
Keep it kind of vague because I'm probably gonna end up watching it. So
Okay. It shares some similarities with Tomorrowland from last year,
okay.
which this is one of the things that baffles me. Tomorrowland got shit on. I thought it was a really cool, really fun movie. So if
I thought it
if
was
you
okay.
didn't, yeah, I don't know. It's not as bad as people make it out to be. It's just different, and I liked it for that. But if Tomorrowland wasn't your thing, you probably might not love this one. But I think there's a lot to admire in it. It's got some really, really interesting visuals, great performances, especially by Michael Shannon, who's just the best. It's very sci-fi-y. It doesn't criticize religion, but it sort of delves into, I guess, not the occult, but just cult-like mentalities. And it's a very, very interesting movie. I liked it a lot. Just to give it a rating, I would give it a 9. So as of right now, I think it's my third favorite movie of the year, just to give it some context. That's funny. My top 4 favorite movies of this year, we didn't do an episode on. It's fun. My favorite movie we did an episode on was actually Batman v Superman, so go figure.
Really?
Yeah, that's weird.
Oh God.
Sorry. And so then the other movie I saw is another movie that I'm sure you're directly dying to see, and I think you got to watch it tonight. Like, it's hour and a half long, if that. Really cool movie. It's called Hush, directed by Mike Flanagan. He went to a pretty crappy school, but what are you gonna do? Towson, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. I'm just messing.
That is a crappy school. Don't worry.
Not if you came out of it. It's your pretty good track record. But this is a horror. I guess. I don't think it's horror. It's definitely like a suspense. It's very suspenseful, like a suspense thriller. If that's a thing. But it's kind of like it's built around the idea of a home invasion. Now, Josh, have you heard anything about this movie?
I've heard it's a silent film. Is that right?
Kind of, but no. All right,
Okay.
I'm not gonna say.
I don't know anything about this.
Yeah,
I've seen like a picture on Netflix, and that's it.
I won't say anything about it because it has a very early twist that I think it was in retrospect, like looking back at the movie, like when I first saw it, I was like, oh, this is risky. But then looking back, I was like, it really isn't though. Like it's actually kind of the movie plays to its strengths in a lot of ways. There's some things that just didn't work for me, like the main character. There's some parts of her that I just just didn't really make a lot of sense. She kind of falls into this stupid person in horror movie cliches, which shit happens. That kind of stuff happens. Like she's got a whole second floor to her house that she barely utilizes, and it's weird. But overall, it's an interesting movie. I'm trying to figure out how to say this without spoiling. Okay, the character I wanted to know about the most was barely developed, which kind of makes the plot of the movie almost seem. It just seems random. Like the inciting incident to this movie just kind of comes out of nowhere, and it was really just opportunistic, and the movie's built on, well, I'm here, so I might as well, kind of a deal. So that's did that ruin anything for you, do you think?
Not really, no.
Okay, well, go back and listen to this one after you see it, because what I'm saying will make a lot more sense, I hope.
Okay.
But overall, I really like the movie. That's I'd also give that one, I'd give that like an 8.5 out of 10. So that's my my fourth favorite of the year so far. So very interesting movie, and I almost didn't watch it because I got my hopes up for The Witch and I was let down, but I just let this one play and I watched it and it was a lot of fun. And the cat doesn't die, which is the most important thing. So, great. Yeah, busy week. All right.
Yeah.
And get a little bit busier next week, barring any major, movie news. So if we can carve 5 or 10 minutes out of the next episode, we're gonna do game night again. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. And then we're gonna talk about finish up our Marvel retrospective, the MCU part 2. So from Avengers: Age of Ultron onwards. Or no, wait, what am I thinking of? Captain America: Winter Soldier onwards?
Iron Man 3.
Iron Man 3. Oh God, what a slog!
You need to watch that again.
I know. I'll try.
Please do.
I just don't. I'm trying to be positive. I'm just
Have
trying
you
to
only
be
seen
a
it
positive
once?
person. Yeah, I saw it once.
If you see it again, knowing what happens, you'll enjoy it more.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. I'll do it. All right, fine. I'll do it for you. But if I start to get mad, I'm turning it off because I'm not losing any more time in my life to that movie. So, all right. Anyways,
Better than Iron Man 2.
not by much. Just kidding. It's not. All right. So we've got, like we said, MCU retrospective part 2 next week. Cody will be back to join us after he's finished working on what I'm sure is to be the next Hamilton. So we'll get in on the ground floor, try to make some money off of tickets. I hope. So until next time, you can follow us at _RealFlix on the Twitter. Send us an email at realflixpodcast@gmail.com. Leave us an iTunes review. We'll read it on the air. It'll be a good fun time. So until next time, Josh, take it easy. Why don't you?
I don't have anything funny to say. Bye.
I'm tired of monkeying around. Oh, Ooby-Doo, I wanna be like you. I wanna walk like